going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Alexander here. I'm here with X at Hertz MMA, and today we're going to do a video complimenting Takenouchi Sai. Okay, we're going to go over some warm-up exercises. We're going to go through the kata a step at a time and talk about a few of the fine details, and then we're going to get into some bunkai. Like I said, this is to complement the video I put up earlier about Takenouchi Sai, where I just did the form, and now we're just going to start to get into it, dig into it just a little bit. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you. Okay, so when you pick up a weapon in the Torosume, in Rino Tate, right? When you pick up a weapon, we're getting away from the self-defense mindset. Now we're thinking we're going to go forward, right? So a lot of the techniques in this kata will be less about what my opponent is trying to do to me and more about what I'm trying to do to my opponent, right? I'm less concerned about my safety than I am about doing damage to my opponent, if that makes sense, okay? So I'm going to grab my side, and then we're going to get into some warm-up routines just to get the hands nice and loose, the wrists nice and loose, and we're going to work on our dexterity a little bit. Alright, so I'm assuming that you already have some Sai work in, you've looked at the Takenouchi Sai, or you've learned how to work other Sai Kata, right? This is going to help complement some of that too if you don't know Takenouchi Sai, right? So we're gripping our side, just normal side grip, index finger indexing on the scot, and you know, apply pressure into the side and keep it up against your forearm. So the first technique we're going to do, you're going to grip your side, you're going to whip straight out, we're going to try not to hit each other, come back, and then whip down, okay? So just a set of 10, so we're going 5 and 5. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju, yame, okay? Now, a sacrilege, just to say this, a sacrilege is to drop your weapon, so never, ever, 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 ever drop your weapon. That's another thing that these drills help you with, is keeping positive control of your weapon. Alright, next thing we're going to do, flip side out, we're going to put our fingers inside the prongs, and we're just going to rotate forward 10 times. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, and ji. And then backwards. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, and ji. Now we're going to rotate one back and up, and then we're going to roll it down, and we're going to alternate, right? So, ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Now what X is doing is a double, which is totally fine. 2 up, 2 down, 3 up, 3 down, whatever, right? Just want to build that dexterity. Now we're going to figure 8, so roll out and roll in. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, and ju. Yame. After that, we're just going to spin around the outside of the hand. Right? I have to prep mine. Right? My hands are big, and I got to squeeze my hand through there before I can spin it out. If you can just go from here and make a full rotation, then go ahead and do that. So we're just going to do 10 of those. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, and ju. Yame. Okay. Now we're going to roll back. This one, I'm going to hold it like I'm pulling the trigger on a pistol. I'm going to throw back and spin, catch with my thumb, then whip out. We're just going to do that 10 times on each side. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Yame. Now, we're going to tabletop, we're going to spin around the thumb. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Alright? And if you're feeling froggy, you can try to spin the pizza, right? So let me see if I can do this without screwing it up. Nope. Let me see. We'll try one more time. There we go. Yeah. I've been practicing.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, right. Like and subscribe. All right. And put them all together. Whip out. Roll back. Roll forward. Figure 8. Catch. Flip around the outside. Flip back. Roll, and then around the thumb. All right. So once again, flip out. Roll back. Figure 8. Down. Ooh, set of 10.
Okay.
No. When the camera's off, man, you ain't got to do it right now. When the camera's off. I'm not editing that out, though.
Oh, yeah.
So you get your set of 10 later. All right, so once you've gone through those warm-ups a few times, get your hands nice and warm, and you're ready to go into the form. It's Takenouchi Sai by the numbers, not for effect. I'm going to be talking through it, right? So make your bow, put a ready position, okay? First move, over the left shoulder, I'm going to strike down and give ground, right? Put my side back. Deflect, block, strike, gouge, pull. Back stance, double punch, 1, 2. Reverse front, strike. Same thing on the opposite side. Give ground, deflect, block, strike, gouge, pull, double punch, boom, boom, reverse front, strike. Sweep down, block up, knee, prong strike, strike to the collarbones, strike into the hip socket, up underneath the rib cage to the collarbones. Fan strike to both sides of the head. Low block, step forward, strike low, double punch, front kick, punch, yeah! Turn, deflect, block up, strike down, gouge. Double strike to the collarbones. Step forward, strike up into the throat, turn, strike to the side of the head. Hey, don't hit yourself in the head. Deflect, block up, strike down, step forward, take a knee, block over, strike up underneath. Big strike, cut, draw, kensetsu, boom, strike low. Turn, hit down, kick them off. Should have warmed up my knees. You hear that click? Yeah. Step up. Again, gouge. Strike collarbones. And this movement is just suriashi. In shizenta, natural stance. Step and slide. Very heavy. Boom, boom. Step in, outside stance. Double strike low. Double strike high. Turn. Sanshin. Root. Sink down. Center yourself. Boom. Out. Sweep high. Sweep low. Like jujus. 1, 2. Step in. Hard gouge, no strike to the collarbones. And I'm going to step forward, I'm going to kick them off my weapon, get off it, step back, block high, no sweep, gouge, strike to the collarbone, put it back, neko wash, roll, make my roll, catch, pierce, finish. Put it back, and bow. Now let's talk about some of the bunkai. Okay, so like I said before, I'm more concerned about what I'm trying to do with my opponent versus what they're trying to do to me, right? I'm not really being reactionary here. I'm attacking him. He is attacking me. We're trying to hurt one another. I'm not sitting here trying to be the defensive guy and just deflect everything. My defense, and here's the mindset. My defense is to facilitate my offense. Right? My defense is not to keep myself safe. My defense is to make him so he can't affect me with his weapon and open him up, because every time we attack, we're open. Right? It's to negate his attack so I can counter, so I can take his weapon from him, so I can go into the killing process to maim and hurt him. Right? Because now we're not playing, we're playing for keeps. So, what I believe Takenouchi Sai is Sai defense against a longer weapon, right? Whether it's a sword, a jo, some other longer staff, spear, what have you, it is a longer weapon because I'm doing a lot of covering ground and yo-yoing, right? I'm bouncing back and bouncing forward, rolling underneath, getting over top, that type of thing. So the first technique we're looking at is the first technique out of the kata. Block down or sweep down, deflect over top, here, gouge, pull, 1, 2, rip, okay? And with these, I'm a lot closer to my opponent than I would seem to be, right? I don't want my opponent out at the end of my weapon. I want them close enough for me to gouge them with these secondary prongs, right? So, this technique here, right? I'm giving ground. What I'm doing is he's making his move forward and he's trying to stab me. Now, there is being stabbed between the xiphoid process down and bring the xiphoid process up, right? I have an option to go high or low with that, right? So if he's going for xiphoid process, stab here, I'm giving ground, right? I'm giving ground and I'm deflecting that down, okay? That is one option, right? Because when I have more than one thing going on, it gives me multiple options. Not that I'm giving him opportunities to do multiple things, right? If he's going high, go high, right? Then I'm deflecting with this one. There's my trap, there's my strike down, right? So, deflect down, strike down. Deflect up, lock, strike down. I have options there. So after that, right? So he gives me the jab, right? So I back off, deflect down, right? He jabs high, right? Cool. This part of my weapon is already tied up, right? He deflects, or excuse me, I deflect down. He strikes high, strike high, right? I'm going to my secondary weapon, right? Now I'm moving forward. I'm yo-yoing, like I said, I'm yo-yoing to him. I'm backing off, giving ground, drawing him in because I have the shorter weapon. This is just my deflection. That's my lock there. That's not a block. That's my lock there. That's what I'm obstructing his weapon with, right? And I'm striking down at his hands, trying to get his hands off the weapon. This one has to be very soft. If he backs away from me, back away. I stick to him. If he pushes into me, push into me. I can crowd him or I can give him more ground. He pushes into me, I can give him more ground, but I'm keeping control of that weapon. After that, that's my strike down, my gouge, right? Stabbing in, I want that secondary prong, ripping his hand away from that weapon. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Or ripping the weapon away from him. I don't necessarily want to do that because I want to try and open him up a little bit. Grab your weapon, right? So I'm jabbing in, scraping away from that. I'm still close to him, right? Stepping in, trying to knock him over this leg. That's why I'm turning back. So I'm behind his foot here, cracking him high to knock him over my my leg. So let's go. All right, so pause. I'm gonna cut all this out. So, of course, we do the same thing on the opposite side, right? We're just balancing it out, so I'm not gonna go over that technique all over again, right? When I turn once again, right? I'm gonna sweep down, strike up, knee, right? What I got going on there, right? Again, he's giving me the gouge, right? I'm getting that out of the way. And this strike up, I'm moving into him, right? I want to get him with that secondary prong, right? So that's locked up, that's there. I'm rushing up that, and I'm trying to catch him right here. Driving up, right? This is not a high block. Not a high block, right? I'm not going to use it as such. Right? It's uke technique, but I'm not blocking anything, right? I want to drive that into him, right? Drive him up, and excuse me. I'm trying to get him with that prong. Are you still in the box? Yes, you are. I want to get him with that prong. At the same time, right, my hands are tied up, right? I got this secondary prong in him. I'm tied up his weapon. I don't have any other weapons, so I have to use other parts of my body. I'm going bang, take that with you. Right? So, this motion, right? Deflecting down, striking up, and go in the opposite direction, right? So again, he gives me the gouge, right? I'm riding that weapon up, right? And now the sweep gets kind of nasty. Now I get in and I sweep, right? Or I sweep, right? Somewhere low, right? Sweep somewhere low as I'm pressing this into him. Sweep somewhere low, cool. And then again, take that with you. So that can be used either way. Deflect here, strike here. Deflect here, strike and sweep there. I'm using those secondary prongs a whole lot in this kata. All right, so going back, right? We're adding some more to it. After I've deflected, either high and ripped into him, or low and struck up into him, after I've come this way, right? That's another technique. You reach out with that middle finger and then you kind of scissor. Don't, whoa, I'm joking.
Okay.
Dude, I'm joking. Ruin the joke, right? You scissor and then you grab his weapon with that's why you need to do all the gripping jars and stuff. So you lock on with a single finger and he's like, I can't get my weapon back, and then I give him that, right? No, I was joking. Right? I'm just trying to get you to come this way and get more in the center of the camera, right? So, bam, bam, I strike with the knee. Now, I'm going knives out, stepping in hard, which is why we're doing a suryasana, because I'm really close to my opponent, right? I'm gouging in, not just with my hands, but with my body weight, right? And I'm crashing down on his collarbones with my body weight, okay? Now, of course, I have some options here, right? I can be striking into the collarbone or into the head with the main prong coming down, right? But I can also be gouging just with those secondary spikes. You get me? Right? Same thing along the sides, right? I don't have to gouge with that main prong. I can gouge with that secondary prong. I don't know if you can see that, but I can gouge with that secondary prong by pinching him kind of with my main prong. I get this into his armpit. That secondary prong is going into his chest somewhere, right? So that part, I'm trying to just get some sort of meat, right? Bang, pull him out. Bang, or top down, right? So after that, right? Again, like I said, we have options, okay? 1 and 2 is not necessarily part of here, here, and here, right? It just gives me options, right? So I'm not able to do this part. I'm too close, right? I can use those secondary prongs, or I can just use the end of scuff. Boom, drive in, sink down, right? When I say horse stance, it tells me sink down. Not necessarily I'm standing in front of him in a horse stance and doing stuff. I'm just dropping my weight into him, and I'm driving deep into his body there. So, bop, 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 bop. Your fan strike, right, or what I like to call a fan strike, because that's what it's most like to me, right? I'm just striking one side of the head and the other side of the head, right? As a single technique, right? Crack, crack. Trying to loosen some teeth in the back. Bars, never mind. Crack, crack. Right? So, pop, pop, right? That's Chinese though. Like this is Japanese. Well, I guess they would say konnichiwa, bitches, right? That's Japanese. Technically it works, right? Right. So fan strike, crack 1, crack 2. That doesn't necessarily have to be a part of any other technique. I can add that anywhere I want, right? Gouge, crack, crack. Lead in, crack, crack, right? Knee, crack, crack, right? Just that technique has a lot going on with it. Bang, bang, hitting both sides of the head, or striking both sides of the collarbone, or striking both sides of the neck, right? Next section, right? We're turning 90 degrees, and in kata, the angle is not where our opponent is. It is our relation. Excuse me. It is our orientation in relation to our opponent, right? So if I'm turning 90 degrees in a kata, I'm getting to the side or ending up 90 degrees from my opponent, right? So my opponent's not right here. My opponent is always in front of me. But in the kata, I'm turning 90 degrees, sweeping down, stepping forward, striking low, punching twice, kicking, and then punching. So I know I have to get to one side or the other. Which side am I going to go? Well, if I'm deflecting down with this hand, right, I'm probably going to this side over here, right? Makes more sense. Gives me a free weapon should I want to use it, right? So he gives me the pokey thing, right? And I'm getting over here, trying to get to the 90-degree side, right? I'm stepping in, I'm striking low. Boom. I don't want to necessarily leave him with that, right? So I'm cracking that down here, maybe even deflecting the weapon down. But who knows what orientation or what look he's going to give me when I decide to make that motion, right? Say he does one of these numbers, right? Lifts up like that for whatever reason. Bang, just picks it up. Cool, I'm just going to strike him into the knee. I'm not going to reach up high to try and drive that down, right? If anything, I'm going to keep in contact with that because I want to keep pressure on that. Crack, right? Then punch twice. Crack, crack, right? Whatever I see open, right? The kata says I'm punching right here, Judan level. Real life says whatever's open, right? So if I'm here, I'm cracking high, cracking low, man, that liver's open to me. Cool, right? If he gives ground, right, then I'm pursuing. Give ground, right? Then I'm pursuing. If he stays put, right, I can't pursue. Crack. I just have to stay there and put it back. Or either way, deflect down, step in, coming forward strong, strike low, punch twice, kick, punch, right? So I'm covering a lot of ground with that technique. 1, 2, 3 steps forward. Right? So I'm rushing up his weapon. All right. X pointed something out to me that I think is absolutely beautiful, and I didn't even see it. And I don't know why I didn't see it. I should have seen that because I've been talking about it the whole time, right? He's saying at my punches, right? Don't just have the hand pull back, right? Utilize that hikite the way it's supposed to be used as a hikite, right? As I'm making my punch, my returning hand is also gouging into him. I'm also pulling with that secondary prong, whether that's into the hands, somewhere into the body. God, that would suck.
Yeah.
God, that would suck.
Sai got some nasty secondary.
It does.
Peeling me.
Right?
Peel your neck.
So as I'm punching, I'm also pulling and hooking and gouging and scraping on my opponent. Thanks a lot. That was a good one. All right, so after my punching and kicking sequence, right, I'm turning 180 degrees, which means I'm going to get around behind my opponent or have my opponent get around behind me, technically, or doctrinally. Is that a word? Anyway, I'm turning 180 degrees in the kata, right? So punch, punch, kick, punch. I'm turning around, spinning. I'm making my deflection over top. And this deflection here, right? I'm not blocking anything with that, right? It is much too soft to try and block something with. If he's crashing down on top of my head with anything, and I'm trying to deflect it with that, it's just going to smash my sai into my head and smash my head with whatever he's attacking with, right? But I am trying to either lift, right, or get into that weapon before it's had an opportunity to strike down, which is why my hand here comes up secondary to lock whatever is up there, right? So I'm getting into the weapon, I'm keeping it there, and then I'm doing something with my free hand. So let's make believe I did my kick punch sequence to this side. My next move, turn, whip, strike up, or excuse me, deflect up, trap up, strike down. You'll see a lot of this in the kata. Deflect, catch, strike, right? Deflect, catch, strike. And like I said, it's offensive. I'm not waiting for him to do something. I'm moving into his weapon to catch it, to break his knuckles, strike his hand, crack him up a little bit. So I'm stepping into him. I'm turning into them, right? So here, crack. And then it gets kind of a dick move, and kind of literally a dick move here, right? So I'm into him, right? So I moved into him, trapped the weapon, cracked here, right? I'm keeping a hold of that, right? As I step in and gouge underneath. This is where I'm taking a knee, right? I'm sticking it up into his body cavity. Now, you could be nice and just crack him across the kneecap, crack him across his chin, try and break a tib fib, try and get that secondary prong in there to affect something. But let's be honest, man, if you're in a fight for your life and you can jam, what, 1.5 feet of steel up inside. You probably won't pierce him, but he's gonna feel it, right? Jab a foot and a half of steel up inside him. You're gonna do that, right? So crack that. Then you're stepping up, whip it across. Crack that, right? Then after I hit him, right? That's cutting across. Turn, draw, kick, right? So caught his weapon, cracked his knuckles, step underneath, struck here, struck up top, right? I'm gouging him to hold on to him with both of these, right? 1 and 2, wherever I can dig my hooks, right? Wherever I can dig my hooks, I'm pierced into him, holding on to him, and I'm gonna go crack, right? Ride his knee all the way to the ground. Not being nice there. Ride his knee all the way to the ground. And then once he's on the deck, turn, fall onto him. Right, good night. Or, I'm throwing him in the opposite direction, right? So, after I've done all that, and I've stabbed down in the kata, back up a little bit, back up, in the kata, after I stab here, right? Put my side back, turn, side kick, right? It wouldn't make much sense to side kick a guy that is already on the ground, right? So what that tells me is that I have an either or option, okay? I've either cracked his knee, rode him to the ground, and if he went down to the ground, then I'm going to descend upon him and stab him. If he did not go to the ground, right, I get him here, still prongs into him, right? After I kicked here, right, he doesn't go down to the ground. That's fine, right? I'm just going to take him and throw him down to the ground in this direction. Boom, that's my side kick. Not really a side kick, but think of it like a Takenouchi, right? So I'm taking him and I'm throwing him over that leg. Crack. Put him on the ground on this side. At that point, I'm finished with him. So I have either or. I have some options. If I ride his knee into the ground, I stab him. If he doesn't go down, I reap him. And then after I reap him, I can stab him after that again. My knees feel better. Okay? After I've done my side kick, step up, right? Prep. This is really the first time in the kata that you get into any type of stance. Any type of hands up, I'm ready to go stance. Everything after that is just kind of moving, right? So this is my first, take a breath, okay? And then we go into my attack sequence. Now, my attack sequence doesn't necessarily start here, right? You'll see that repeat a lot because it's a very important technique in this kata. My attack sequence starts right here. That's where I'm bridging the gap. If I have a free leg, I can use that free leg, right? Put your staff out, right? I have to get beyond that, right? I have to try and reach him, right? Beyond that. Because I have a free leg, right? I can reach him, bang, with my free leg to bridge that gap just for a split second. Boom. Then I'm in here. Then I'm up here. Kata tells me, at this point, you freed up a leg, you can use that leg, right? So free up a leg, and that could be knee, kick, cut, sweep, whatever to free up that leg. And then I'm following up with gouge, cracking of the collarbone, right? After that, boom, boom, right? After I've gouged and cracked his collarbone, now I'm striking up into his throat, right? Now we're pinpointing throat with that technique, right? So after I kick, boom, 1, 2, bang, whip around. So strike the throat, whip. And because my foot, I'm doing my reverse front, right? I'm getting my foot in there to him as I whip. Taking him over that leg. Right? So, free foot, stop that forward momentum, step forward, gouge, crack the collarbone, full step forward, strike into the throat, crack. Taking him over that. So, I'm striking low, double. Striking high, double. Pivoting into Sanchin. It's at this point where I'm starting to get internal. I'm trying to sink, root, right? Harden my body at this point, right? Just for a moment, right? Recenter myself. Cool. Then I soften up, right? 1, 2, right? Man, that's probably the only technique in the kata that I'd say is, no, not somewhat defensive. I was thinking defensive, but no, it's still offensive, right? Maybe I'm inviting, but I'm attacking my opponent's weapon. So they're on line, and he's not giving me a gouge, right? That's how you're gonna have your weapon? Yeah, there we go. That's a lot more threatening than this.
Yeah.
Right, at least that you can come straight, pow, right? I'm eating, right? Versus, right? Not much there. Anyway, that's a whole other lesson for another day, right? So I'm batting down in a way with that, right? So batting down in a way. After I bat down in a way, I'm stepping in hard. Boom, another one of these. The only reason this one is different though, is right now I'm trying to make some space, right? After I've gouged him, I'm not striking collarbone here, right? I'm getting real deep into him, stepping up the blade, up the staff, up the spear, whatever, in hard, and then I'm going, get away from you, right? That's the one that I'm not just cracking. I'm actually making some space. After I make space, then I'm facing the opposite direction. Right? So, batten down in a way, crash. Or gouge and then crash. Right? But it's high-low, right? So I can go up over top or down through the bottom, right? So weapon comes online, right? So I'm up over into the body, get away from me. Weapon comes online, down, whatever, into the body. Bang, get away from me. So, here, double, right, has me knocking my opponent's weapon away as I'm pursuing into it. Or at least that's what I'm getting from the kata. Stepping back, here. Stepping in, this is the first high block, quote unquote, air quotes, side quotes. Side quotes, right? First block, but this one has a hikite. This one doesn't have a sweep down, and it's not cracking down with the main prong, right? So, coming up into my opponent's weapon, let's go this. Into my opponent's weapon, and then just immediately gouging with the secondary prong, right? So I'm turning heavy into it. Ripping with that prong, whatever I can get a hold of, right? I like hands, right? That must be the swordsman in me. I like the kote, right? And I like things around the throat. That's just me, but whatever is a soft target I can get a hold of, man, I want to be ripping on that while still maintaining positive control of his weapon. So we're stepping in, turning, block, and then we go into the same sequence, right? So no sweep, just rush up, right? Rush up, rip, right? Then 1 and 2. You know what? Give me the side. You know what's cool? I just realized this. I've never had this happen before. If I'm over top and that's trapped on my forearm, I can still grip my side and be on top of that. I've never tried that. I've never really tried locking and stuff like that. I grip my side and still be on top of it. It works pretty good too. Yeah. Anyway. I'm not editing that part out either. No. Remember that's going to be video notes for later. This is in real time, people. Crack. Boom. Then we have the roll. Yes, the ninja roll, right? This is the reason why, or one of the main reasons why, I believe that this kata is for defending against somebody with a longer weapon. It's definitely not a gun, and it's definitely not a bow and arrow, right? So, what I'm trying to do is he is trying to stab, try and stab. I'm trying to get below that, go all the way up. Give me some, give me this. Yeah. Oh no, hold that right there. Hold that. I'm trying to get all the way under that, right? To cover that ground, right? So he's making his stab, and I'm going to get closer to it, right? I'm not going to roll into him. Right? I would want to roll into it, but I ain't doing that this time, right? I'm trying to cover all that ground, right? Then get a hold of him or his weapon, and then stab him with my side, right? That's all that's telling me I'm doing. Getting my weapon into him, pressing that into him, and then stabbing him with my side. And the kata, it's here, not gaujugi. It's here and then through and then back, but trying to get that kind of precision in the heat of battle, right, is kind of crazy to me, right? But it is telling me I want that pressed into him. I'm jamming him, and then after I've pressed his weapon into him, I'm stabbing him with the end of my saw. And that is going to take us to the end of Takenouchi Sai. Now, of course, these are just my interpretations of it, and some of the ones I like, and some of the ones that I practice from time to time, right? But, of course, there are endless possibilities, endless interpretations of how the Sai work in that form, all depending on what your knowledge, experience, training looks like. As hands get stronger, wrists get stronger, throwing gets better, strikes get harder, different opportunities open up to you, right? So, one last thing, and we're going back to this technique here. The last one you do in the kata. Okay, you have an option here. The last one you do in the kata is to try and staple your opponent's foot to the ground or kill their mobility by actually throwing your sai at their feet. Right? So he, as a costume with a weapon, I'm stepping into it, deflecting up, trapping it. Instead of just cracking his knuckles here, I'm throwing it into his legs. Okay? So, at what point would I want to attempt something like that with my sai? If I'm here, why don't I just crack his knuckles? Why don't I just hit him in the head? Well, if I'm running up his spear, staff, sword, and he starts to back up, give ground, give ground. He's giving ground, right? Out of range, right? I would back up something because I still in the hand, right? When he's backing up out of range, I'm not being able to get that, man. I'll throw, boom, try and hit his shin, his foot, something that makes him stumble, right? It becomes shuriken jutsu at that point. After I throw that, I would draw my spare side and still go back to work. Okay? If you're going to do that in the kata, and you do have your third side, right? Because traditionally they were carried in threes. You do have your third side. On the last one of those, you're going to throw your side into the grass. I suggest you do it in grass. Don't do it on foam pads and don't do it on concrete. You'll just damage your side, maybe gouge up the concrete. But after you've thrown it, then draw your side. If you're not going to throw your side, do not wear the third side. Disclaimer, if you're not going to throw your side, do not wear a third side, because there is a dive roll in the kata. Dive rolls and sai across your back do not mix, right? You want to get rid of one side and draw your spare before you do your roll, right? Makes sense? And the one to do it here is at the last one of these. I got to get a name for that instead of just saying one of these. I got to just name that something so you'll know what I'm talking about. Everyone will know what I'm talking about, right? Blue wave dragon, and it's like this thing, whatever. So, stepping in, locking, throwing, letting my side go, trying to staple his foot to the deck, or at least give him some sort of distraction, some sort of attempt, right? After that, stumble, mess with his mobility, right? Footing, pull my third side, and then go back to it. So, that's going to be enough for today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of this video. I want to say thank you to X here. Thank you very much. Great student, always a great help, sacrificing his day of training to help me out, put this material out for you to watch. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button so you can tune in for more videos like this. And go ahead and share this video with some of your martial arts buddies, or somebody that's interested in the Sai, or somebody that's interested in martial arts just in general. Don't even have to be the Sai, right? Just let them know we exist, help us grow our channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.